Hello everyone, welcome to watch the training program of Fanview Technology, IP phone Mid-Level Course 6, Introduction of IP phone Configuration File. The content of our video is mainly to introduce the advanced functions that we often encounter. It mainly including the below three parts. The first part, generate and edit configuration file, and the second part, import and export configuration file, and the third part, encrypt and use the configuration file. Now let's start the first part, generate and edit configuration file. Currently, all of Fanview models support three formats: TXT, NCTXT, XML. And the most commonly used format is TXT. We can use a notepad to edit and view the text file format. When creating a configuration file, we should pay attention to header, end, and the important text of the file. The header and the end of the file should be clear, and the other configurations could be added in the middle of the header and the end. Let's take the zip1 as an example. Except the head, real IP configure file, and the end of the file. All of the other account information is included, like the account line, register address, password, and register port, and so on. Next, let's learn how to generate and edit a NCTXT file. When generate NCTXT file, we should pay attention to fill in the header. Pay attention, there is no end for the NCTXT file, only the head, like the real IP configure file. Let's take audio code as an example. The parameters should be filled as below when the generation file is generated. Next, let's introduce how to generate and edit XML file. When generate XML file, we should pay attention to equal the header and the end. Take time setting as an example. We should pay attention to fill in the sub-10. Here is the header time display and also end with time display. And the middle part is about the time setting parameters. Well, let's start the second part, import and export configuration file. Regard to export configuration file, you need to log in the web page and find down system and configuration, and then under here we can find export configuration files. We need to right click the mouse to save as and select the storage path. Finally, we can download the configuration file in the browser. Then let's see how to import the configuration file. It's also under the configuration settings. We need to select the configuration file we need, and then click import, and then the configuration file will be imported. Now let's move on to the third part, encrypt and use the configuration file. The execution environment can be divided into Windows and Linux. Firstly, let's see how to encrypt the configuration file under Windows system. We need to encrypt the configuration file through a tool named DSC. Firstly, we need to download the tool and install it in the under Windows. And we also need to open the key and then place the exported file in equation directly in F drive. And fourth step is to improve CMD in learning to enter DOS command line to enter encryption directly via command. And the last step is to encrypt or decrypt file with following commands. And here we can find the commands. Okay, let's explain more about the command. This part, DSC means the tool name, and then key.text means the key file, and configure here is the means the configuration file name. Well, let's see how to encrypt the configuration file under Linux. Say as Windows, we should download the tool DSC first. Here's the step. We can find the download link here, and then after download, we need to unzip the file to Linux and enter the relevant path. Execute compile command to get the DSC tool. Here's the command. And then Linux will generate DSC after execution, and then place to be encrypted or decrypted file in the DSC path. Then we need to enter the encryption command like this one. Let's move on to the last step. We need to decryption the command like this DSC at mywine.keep ddata.enc. For an example, we can see this command. DSC means the tool name and key.txt means the key. E refer to equation. Configure.text it means the configuration file name. And here's the configure file. Next, let's move on to the last part, how to encrypt and use the configuration file. If we want to upgrade IP phone with equity configuration file, the key should be added on IP phone web page. And the viewing location is as below. We can find out system and auto provision. And here we can find the basic setting. And that's all. Well, this is all for today's course. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can send an email to our technical support team, support@fanview.com. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.